guys, welcome back to another video, and well, it's been a hot minute since we've talked about this series now, hasn't it? I'm going to be coming at you guys with another installment to the How Do We Fix series. Last episode, we talked about amorphages and what they would need for them to get a little bit better and be more playable. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about LV monsters, or level monsters, or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna call them LV monsters because it's way more simpler. So yeah, if you guys don't know what we do in this series, pretty much in this series we talk about what a deck. Pretty much we take an archetype that is pretty much struggling or is not really played anymore, and pretty much talk about like what it would need to get better. So like we go over the overall strategy, the strengths, weaknesses, and then we talk about at the very end what it would need to be more playable in the modern game. So, yeah, now that we got that out of the way, let's start on with the video. So, LV, or level monsters, pretty much came out in the Solo Duelist set. That's where they debuted, and that was with Armed Dragons and Horus. Now, back in the day, this was actually pretty unique because it wasn't really anything like it. So, with the whole gimmick of these guys, well, basically, was pretty much like, well, let's take Armed Dragon level 3 for example. So Armed Dragon level 3 states if it stays in the field to your next standby phase, you can send it to the graveyard to special Armed Dragon level 5 from your hand or deck. So basically the whole thing with this, like these monsters, you would have a certain condition you have to meet to then evolve into the next incarnation of that monster. So like Armed Dragon level 5, if you destroy a monster at battle, then like you can during the end phase, or I think it's during the end phase, your end phase, you send it to the graveyard, bring out level 7. So that was actually really like unique and pretty creative back in the day, I feel. Nowadays, this deck is an era long, is a relic of an era long gone. Honestly, it's just old and just is unplayable now. To be honest, there have been. I mean, I know Armed Dragons kind of had that little like glimmer of, I guess, support, if you want to call it that, with Ojamas, but I don't count that as support. I really don't. I call that just inbreeding or something like archetype inbreeding in a way. I don't know, but yeah. So with that out of the way, let's get on to the overall strategy. So since I'm covering LV as a whole, I'm gonna go over all 7, I believe it is 7, yeah, 7 archetype or sub-archetypes for LV that have existed in the game, and just run down a quick what the heck they do, or like what their whole gimmick was, and so we have a better understanding of what these things really did. So to start off, Armed Dragons were pretty much a aggressive kind of deck. Pretty much when they mostly with them, if they like destroy a monster in battle, they would evolve into the next thing, except for Armed Dragon level 3 because they had to stay on the field for a whole turn. And the cool thing about them was they could actually destroy stuff in the field. Like Armed Dragon level 7 was pretty much a 1-card nuke, like if you send a monster from hand in the graveyard, and then if any monster had less than or equal to the amount of attack as that card you sent, it got blown up. So that was great. It had to be face up though, sadly. Yeah, it had to be face up, so which was kind of sad, but hey, it was a field nuke, which was awesome, I feel. Then you had Horus. Horus came out alongside Armed Dragons. They were I think the much better of the two. With them, they were actually kind of the same thing, but they had a unique thing where Horus level 6, for example, was unaffected by spell cards, and level 8 pretty much could negate spell and traps. Just spells. He can negate spells and destroy them, which was very powerful back in the day, because spells were kind of a big thing, but traps were also there, so it's kind of like, well, I wish I could hit traps too, but hey, spells nowadays, that sounds really powerful. So then you had Silent Magicians. They were kind of like a control-ish kind of deck with spell counters, which was kind of hilarious. They're kind of iconic because Yugioh used them in the anime. Then there is Ultimate Insects, which had attack manipulation, which was kind of irrelevant, honestly, more like when you look back on it, because this was back in a time where Konami actually thought that attack manipulation mattered, but really it didn't. Then you had Mystic Swordsmen, which are another kind of Armed Dragon-esque kind of deck, where they were more like trying to be more aggressive. With them, if they attack a face-down monster, it would instantly get destroyed. And then their highest level one, I believe that was level 6, it would not shuffle, but put the monster destroyed on top of the opponent's deck. So that was face down. So that was okay, I guess. And then they had Dark Lucius. Dark Lucius was another kind of Armed Dragon-esque kind of deck, but with them, if they destroy a monster in battle, the effects of that monster that was destroyed by it was negated or removed from play. So another okay-ish kind of thing. And then you have Allure Queens, which are just a cluster fuck of an archetype because they are more of equip shenanigans, and I don't even want to go into what, like, how they leveled up because it was the most convoluted way ever, because I think it was because you had to keep them equipped for a turn or something like that. I have no idea. It was just, it was complicated, okay? So yeah, so that's pretty much all of them. This is Editing Dial Duo Academy. As I was editing this video, I realized I forgot one more LV sword archetype in this for this video, and that was Silent Swordsman. That was another one of the more iconic ones, so I apologize for that. So basically, with Silent Swordsmen, they were a kind of like Silent Magicians, but with them, their big boss monster was pretty much you can negate all spell effects on the field. So yeah, they're pretty iconic too because of, you know, Yugi and, you know, anime, stuff like that. But just want to throw it in there so the whole video didn't like end with me not even mentioning Silent Swordsman. So yeah, they're pretty much like an aggressive control deck kind of thing where pretty much they can negate spell effects. So there is that. But yeah, sorry about that whole mishap. Back to the video. They all kind of share the same thing, as you can see. Like, a lot of these were like destroy a monster by battle or stay alive for a turn. That was pretty much the whole thing with lovelies, like, in a nutshell. So long story short, either stay alive for a turn or destroy a monster by battle, pretty much. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for their overall strategy. Nothing else really. I mean, it was kind of like just work your way up, honestly, ever so slowly. So strengths now, they have a few strengths compared to their many weaknesses. First one is having level up in their arsenal. That card is literally like their biggest plus ever to come out of them, its history, because this thing is insane. For this deck, for any LV deck, it's a 3 of instantly. You're gonna have to run it at all times, because it pretty much for free you can like send a LV monster to the graveyard, and then you pretty much level up. Pretty much, that's pretty much it. You level up to the next incarnation. Now, it was kind of weird with Armed Dragons, because you couldn't go from 7 to 10. It would go back to, like, if you tried to do that, it wouldn't work, which was a weird ruling, I feel. But that's, for some reason, how it was. But other than that, it was pretty self-explanatory. You play it, you go on to the next level. So, it was really nice. It's really nice for the deck, and it's honestly their best card ever, honestly, for any LV deck going forward. And it's probably going to be a 3 up if they ever get more support still. And they also have some of them have decent powerful effects, like Horus, for example. Like Horus level 8 can negate and destroy spell cards. That's really good. Armed Dragon level 7, as laid out, can nuke a whole board, which is nice, like, potentially. And yeah, like, a lot of these guys had some decent esque effects. Now I know, like, Ultimate Insects, they had like their big guy can only like your opponent's monsters lose 700 attack and defense. I know that's not great, but pretty much, but that's like that's the bottom of the barrel ones. I mean, like, you know, the promising ones like level 7 and level 8. They have a few like cards like that where like had potential and look pretty good on paper. Just it sucks because a lot of them you had to jump over backwards or bend over backwards to even get into them. That's the whole problem. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the strengths. Weaknesses, they have a lot of them. First off, inconsistency and bricky. They're inconsistent and bricky. You're gonna have hands, obviously, if you're gonna be opening cards that you don't want. Like, honestly, like, for let's say you're playing Armed Dragons, for example, you're gonna have hands of like, oh, I opened level 3, great, but I don't have level up, so I'm gonna have to protect this level 3 guy for a whole turn. So that's not really realistic. Also, you have I opened level up, but I don't have level 3. To go into my level 5 Armed Dragon, level 7 Armed Dragon. You see what I mean? So it's kind of like that. I know a lot of decks are inconsistent, but this whole deck archetype is really inconsistent pretty badly. And also they're slow. I think we already covered this. Like, you can already tell, slow. Also, they have a lack of a universal search card. And now, what do I mean by lack of a universal search card? Pretty much like a Rhoda, or a normal summonable Stratos, pretty much. Now I know they're old, obviously they're not gonna have that, but I mean, like, that's just, but like, seriously, that's how it is. Like, I'm just saying, like, just laying it out there. Like, do you have lack of a search card? So like, if they ever got a Stratos, like, or a Rhoda, that would be just great. A universal one, that'd be great. So for this whole like deck archetype, because then you can just search out the piece you need to go into level, like, to search out the piece you need to go into like a level summon, level up, go from there. It'd make it a little bit more consistent than it already is. If I'm trying to, like, you know, like, if you understand what I'm getting at. Then, like, they're heavily power creeped. This is self-explanatory. I mean, a lot of their, like, I mean, level 8, yes, they can negate spell cards, but traps are really good nowadays. And, like, a permanence, target Horus, all my spells can now go free. So, there is that. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, their better monsters can get Kaiju. So there's that little nugget as well. So now that we've covered their strengths and weaknesses, let's go over the things that need to improve the deck. Obviously, the thing I just mentioned, a universal search card, a deck to help like all LV as a whole would be great. Like a spell card. You could even make it a monster if you really wanted to. I don't know how you do that. I most preferably want a search spell, honestly. I think that would just be better for the deck, because honestly, if you're gonna make more more LV support, you're gonna be probably making a whole new LV sub archetype. So for it, and I think an LV search card would just be perfect. Like our spell card would be perfect. Link Monster, potentially. I don't know about this. I don't think they need a Link Monster. I don't see this deck ever needing a Link Monster, because this deck is not really reliant on the extra deck very often at all. So this is kind of an optional thing. I don't really think they really need one, though. It's just a thought, you know, if you ever would want a LV Link Monster. So this is kind of like the lesser of the deck. This is kind of like the last thing the deck needs is a Link Monster, I feel, because they don't go into the extra deck as much. So. But I think the thing that they really should have is just new updated archetype or archetypal support, like what Assault Mode got, but a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. But preferably what Assault Mode got. I think what Konami did for Assault Mode is kind of the blueprint, I feel, for what they could do for LV. Like, give them a new LV, like a level up retrain, or like give them like a new, like, I guess, Stratos, like Psy Reflector, like how Psy Reflector is, I guess. Or just maybe make a whole new LV sub-archetype which is more modern and coincides with the new stuff, you know, that you could give them. The deck doesn't have to be meta, just make it somewhat playable and just be like a fun deck, you know? I think that'd be great. And also, it could also work with all the other LVs, you know? Like, maybe you could, like, just give them generic LV support that can be used in all the other LV decks, like for Armed Dragons, or for Horus, or for your Silent Magicians, you know? Just stuff like that would be really good, and I think that's probably the most important thing this deck needs, or this whole, like, conglomeration needs, to be playable again, I feel. I think that would be really cool if Konami just gives them what they gave Horus, but a little bit more, like what they got. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I feel, what they really, really need, and I feel that'd be really cool if they did that. So, but yeah, overall, I think LVs are really cool, unique, kind of like fragmented history from this game, and it sucks that they've gotten more and more unplayable as time goes on. So I'm hoping Konami can, like, wipe the dust off of this little archetype that they once made, and just, you know, give it a more modern coat of paint, and pretty much just update it a bit, and make it so all of them that they've made kind of have a little bit of a new coat of paint, and get some generic support for all the LV archetypes they made. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I feel on the whole thing. That's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. What do you guys think of LV or level monsters? What do you guys think they need to get better? And yeah, do you guys think, like, agree with me from when I say, like, they just need what Assault Mode got to make them more playable? Or do you guys think they need a lot more than that? And or do you guys feel that, you know, they should just forget about it, not even touch it, and just, you know, let it be a figment of history that you look back on, like, holy crap, they actually did, like, a cool little level thing that's pretty unique. So also leave down in the comment section below what deck or archetype you want me to talk about next on this series. I'd love to see what you guys come up with, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, leave a like, comment, definitely subscribe. I should see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.